In my public advocacy, in my fight and my wars against this evil empire that we all live in, I have never lied against anyone. If I don't know, I'll say I don't know.
So guys, this is Mr. Dele Farotimi speaking after leaving prison, that he's not just making empty claims. He knows what he's saying, that he doesn't say what he does not know. If he doesn't know anything, he will tell you he doesn't know. So Mr. Dele Farotimi is trying to reiterate the fact that everything in his book are truth, that he did not lie against anybody. I think this is a very powerful statement, and this is going to send a very shocking wave, to the powers that be, those that want to clamp him down. That Dele Farotimi is still saying that everything in his book is truth and facts, that he's not just making empty claims. So guys, I'm going to allow you to take a look at the statements, all the statements he made after leaving prison. And like you can see that Mr. Dele Farotimi was able to meet his bail condition. He has now been set free to reunite with his family, but he did not want to leave without leaving this powerful statement to the powers that be, for them to know that even though he was held back, even though they took his time, they kept him away from his family, they kept him away from his friends and relatives, that he still maintains his stance, that he does not say anything he doesn't know. If he doesn't know anything, he will tell you he doesn't know, that everything he has said in his book, they are truth, and he is willing and ready to defend like he has always told us. So guys, I want you to take a look at the moment when he said all this, and I've also added other clips of Mr. Dele Farotimi speaking truth and nothing but the truth, so that you take a look, just for you to understand the kind of person Mr. Dele Farotimi is. And he's somebody you will finally get to know that this is somebody who is not afraid of the establishment, provided the truth prevails. He is not afraid of anybody. Just take a look for yourself.
In my public advocacy, in my fight and my wars against this evil empire that we all live in, I have never lied against anyone. If I don't know, I'll say I don't know. All of you to know is this: I am not unmindful of the sacrifices that you have made here today. May the grace of God find and locate you wherever you are. It is not ever an easy journey when you are fighting. Yes. But some years back, before I started this work, God told me very clearly, and I heard it very clearly. It says, once have I spoken, once has he spoken, twice have I heard. He says, the truth is enough. It is the only weapon by which you can slay the monster called Nigeria. The truth, nothing else. In my public advocacy, in my fight and my wars against this evil empire that we all live in, I have never lied against anyone. If I don't know, I'll say I don't know.
They are not bambaing with Dele Farotimi. It's not me. If you're looking at me and you think I'm the one you are fighting, you don't colo. In fact, all your intelligence is stupidity of the highest order. You are not fighting Dele Farotimi. Who am I? Who am I? Just like my mentor, Chibayo Adebanjo, once told Abacha, one bullet. You don't need more than that. But God will give you two. And you and I know. Even your marabouts don't tell you. Now I know they hear. You are not fighting Dele Farotimi. Are too small. Are too small. Are too small. Money I not get with any one of you. I barely survive. And I thank God for his grace. I'm just a contented man. I'm not a wealthy man. I am blessed. But not be me on a the fight. You are fighting God. If you don't know it before, make I tell on her. God is tired of all of your madness. Do you hear that? You are not fighting me. I don't have a God complex. That's not what I'm telling you. If you are so stupid that you can't get it into your stupid head, whether the ones with gray hairs or the ones that are bald-headed and stupid, you're not fighting me. It's not me. Who am I? Who you be? Where you go? Who I be? What if it take fight you? The one that has been busy running kitty kata kata from a kitty up and down the place, you want to carry me to do what? You go chop me if you carry me. When you are done carrying me, what would you do? You eat me. But before you go even catch me, you say go try. Do you understand? When I am properly required by law, they shall be there. None of honor. Let me be clear. You've hounded some people and they've taken into exile and gone nowhere. Me and honor will stay here together. This is the land of my birth. I will run nowhere for any one of you. The truth is sufficient as a weapon and it is sufficient as a shield. That is God. So be clear. You're not fighting Dele Farotimi. The day I step out of line, I then employ lies in my advocacy, in my fight against your decadent system, then you have an edge. But I told you years ago, the truth is the only silver bullet by which the monster called Nigeria might be killed. Let me be clear. I will never employ lies against you. I will never ever do anything for self-aggrandizement in my fight against you, but I will defeat you. In fact, you have been defeated. Each and every one of you. The truth is the one thing that you can never ever defeat. Go watch Leonidas and 300 again. You know why they could not defeat Leonidas until treachery came? It's a narrow pass. Every time you argue against the truth, you lose. And for the traitors, those who come into the public space and speak as saints, pretending to champion the people's cause, even when you have betrayed their trust, I see you and I know you. I know your role. Yeah, I know your roles in this, but you're already defeated. Keep that in mind. And know one thing as well. As sure as God liveth, you will also receive your judgment for what you...
I think the first thing that must happen if a human being must get to the point of actualization of their true self, they must first of all lose all fears of death. They must come to the understanding of the fact that if you're born, you must die. So if I wasn't born to die, there must be a purpose for my life.
If I'm still not dead,
it means that that purpose has to be pursued. I knew without knowing why that I would stop practicing law once I turned 50. And when people would ask me, even my wife before I was married, and I've been married since 2002, I told her before we were married that she knew long before our marriage, within 3 weeks of knowing me, anyone would know back then that once I turned 50, I wasn't practicing law anymore. What I was going to be doing, I did not know. When people would ask, I'll say I'll write, because that was always a passion. But as the time drew closer, I knew what had to be done. And what has to be done is that this system has to be confronted. And that is the purpose of my life. When I say the system has to be confronted, I'm always very careful to point out the fact that I'm not speaking to violence. But I bear witness against this system. I'm bearing witness against a generation. I'm bearing witness as to what I am seeing. Generations from now, whether Nigeria lives or dies, I pray that it lives for the sake of our children in one form or the other. It's a blessed land, and I do not wish to become vagrants. I don't want to see our people become wanderers, vagrants away from our land all over the place. You find Nigerians everywhere right now, but you rarely find one who would not prefer to be back here if this would work. So the purpose of my life is to preserve this country, or at least this space, preserve it in peace for the coming generation. And if we fail, let at least the coming generation know what normalcy looks like. Let them know that this putrefaction that they see all around is not normal. If those truths have to be told at risk to life, to economy, well, it doesn't matter. That is the purpose. The knowledge of that purpose drives me. The knowledge of that purpose makes it worth the while. It makes it, look,
person so revered as Afe Babalola,
Yes.
it looks that you are impugning that image, that reputation built over the years. And I'm asking you to substantiate. Tell Nigerians on this platform what exactly was the case. How did he deny you justice through the system?
Sheon,
Mr. Farotimi.
I wrote a book deliberately setting out the facts. I have also been very deliberate in my presentation and speaking about the book since I wrote it, to make sure that nobody is able to say that I have written the book with the intention of scandalizing persons. When I said Afe Babalola denied me justice, I laid out the substance of my allegation in the book that I have written. If I begin to deal with the nuts and bolts of it on your podcast or in the press, that's why you've never seen me tweet any part of the allegation or speak about it publicly. I've put it in a book. That is deliberate. It will outlive me and them. It is not beer parlor talk. It is me putting my words in writing. It is indelible. Nobody can touch it again. Before that book was written, my major prayer was that Afe Babalola should live to read that book, or at least have somebody read it to him, or at least have somebody tell him about it so that he's able to rebut, and nobody is going to turn around later on and claim that, why didn't you say this when he was alive? In actual fact, that was why I sued him in his lifetime, so that there would be record that I challenged him with the fact when he was alive. And thanks to God, the God who has given all of us life, he has preserved him as he has preserved me. Afe Babalola is alive and well. He is well able to challenge the facts as I have laid them out. So when I say that he denied me justice, even you who has read the book, let me just say this. How do you explain that the person who was the chairperson at my wedding was the judge, the chairperson at my wedding, who has not talked to me and has kept a distance and been very malicious towards me since 2003? She has never had a word to say to me. That was the person, my very first employer as a lawyer. That was the judge that the case was assigned to. My case against Afe Babalola was assigned to that judge.
You think that you couldn't have gotten justice?
How could I possibly have gotten justice from a judge who hadn't spoken to me, who was chairperson at my wedding, who was the first person to ever employ me? And that
Who will imagine that kind of person would be in your favor, not against you?
Oh, I didn't need anyone to be in my favor. But as I said in the book, the moment the case was assigned to her, I called the former head of chambers and told him, see, they've assigned my case to this woman. If I write a letter demanding that the case be removed, it will be construed as me being malicious. I'll leave it, since she's not the substantive judge. She's meant to be the I can't remember what they call those things. When you file a case, first it goes to a judge before it goes to trial. She was just meant to just take the preliminary issues. But she killed the case before it even went. That's another story, and it's been told. See, justice must not only be done, it must be seen to have been done. She adjourned to rule on a preliminary objection. We wrote 2 letters to the court to find out when the ruling will be delivered, and copied our first chamber. Nobody ever responded. 9 months after her adjournment, she delivered the ruling without even informing us. We just happened to be in court for something else, and we realized that she had delivered her ruling without ever informing us. I have provided look, my own is this. Before the book was written, I was pressured. I was under a lot of personal pressure that I must write this book and it must be in the public space, because none of us will live forever. Now I have written this book. Those who feel aggrieved by the book should do me the favor of suing me. I have not whispered in a beer parlor. I did not talk in some back room somewhere. I have written a book. It is in the public domain. If they are aggrieved, let them go to court. Maybe everybody, they tell us in Nigeria, go to court. If you're going to the northern part of Nigeria from Lagos, between Lagos and Lokoja, there are 40 custom checkpoints. 40. After Lokoja, all the way to Katsina, not one. Between Lagos, hear me again, between Lagos and Lokoja, 40 custom checkpoints. That is within the border of Nigeria. But once you have crossed Lokoja, not one until you will get to Katsina. And we are all in Nigeria. Let's be clear about something. I have never expected that the beneficiary of a crime would in some way turn around undetected and be the one to offer restitution. When you look at the hard facts, and that is a hard fact, it's verifiable, and I'm sure that there are several people who will be able to say whether I'm a liar by the time I'm out of your studio this morning. 40 checkpoints, Lagos to Lokoja, Lokoja to Katsina, none. Now tell me, who gains from the destruction of our internal commerce? So it is difficult, very difficult, to begin to wrap one's brains around the inanities that are offered when we begin to point at real issues. That's just one, but it should illustrate a lot for anyone who is willing to look objectively. Nigeria and Nigerians are the problem of Nigeria. The average Nigerian has no problem with his neighbor, but our system is structured in a way, any system that allows what I just described to you cannot be said to be just. In a situation where you enter a government institution and you see the manifest and clear marginalization of vast parts of the same country, what you are seeing is the legitimization of internal colonialism or an apartheid system that we are being asked to legitimize by our silence. Is either you are benefiting from it and you then don't want to talk about it. Why would you want to change what is working for you? But if you are an Igbo man or a Yoruba man or anybody for that matter who has reason to transport your goods from Lagos up north, and you have to contend with the fact that between Lagos and Lokoja you are going to find 40 checkpoints that you will not find one after Lokoja, then tell me, how do you explain to such a person that he has no need to be demanding a restructuring? He will demand that restructuring because he knows that if Nigeria is restructured, he will not see those custom checkpoints on the road. Meanwhile, he is a businessman. The only reason he's talking restructuring is because he wants equalization. So beneath restructuring, you find a whole lot of things that are hidden. A lot of grievances are hidden underneath the demand for restructuring. So when we refer to the, and it's a truism, Nigerians don't have problems with themselves. Allowed a level playing field, the average Nigerian is happy to be here. Next 60 years, forget about it. The next 600 years, we want to be here. I could have left Nigeria, but I haven't left. I'm here because I believe in Nigeria, and so do a lot of other people. Hausa, Igbo, Yoruba. Nobody really cares for these tags. If you are demanding that racism should end, Black Lives Matter, how do you really find the moral standpoint to speak about Black Lives Mattering if Ijo life does not matter to you, Igbo life does not matter to you, Fulani life does not matter to you, Hausa life does not matter to you? The people being slaughtered in southern Kaduna, they are human beings. The people being killed in Katsina, they are human beings. People losing their lives every day in different parts of Nigeria where the state has failed woefully, they are human beings. They are Nigerians. They are suffering. So when we talk about the fact that Nigerians we are united, yes, we are united. It is the system and our rulers that are divided us. They profit from those divisions. They profit by it. And when you are demanding restructuring, remember the demand for restructuring is just a cover for several grievances. People are in pain. Interactions with the Nigerian state occasions pain. Fela sang about it. He called it country of pain. Why must our country be a country of pain? Why must all our interactions with the Nigerian state instinctively inflict pain on us? How do you rationalize a situation? You hear that madness. 40 checkpoints to Lokoja, none after Lokoja. If you are in the business of moving goods up and down Nigeria, that is a reality you live with on a daily basis. I heard it this morning and I was shocked to the marrow. But the person whose reality exists with that madness on a daily basis, how do you demand patriotism from him? How do you look him in the eye and tell him that he's unpatriotic for saying that Nigeria should be restructured? What do you want him to do? Carry a gun and start demanding a secession? So Nigeria is the problem of Nigerians and our rulers, and it doesn't matter whether the ruler is Yoruba, Igbo, Fulani or whatever. Is a class, is a single class. All these divisions merely masquerade and cover their activities. At that level, no divisions. All of a sudden, anti-corruption sir, the daughter is busy marrying Atiku's son. Uncle Tinubu was there, Baba Akande was there. There are no divisions. We are the ones who keep lying to ourselves. We divide ourselves. So when we talk about restructuring, understand it is the mask we wear when we don't want to appear to be secessionists. We just want equality.
the 24th year of a civil rule in Nigeria. So that when you begin to have development that acts back to the dark days of military jackboot, authoritarianism, we have to be worried. Because what we are talking about in the matter of Dele Farotimi, it's not about whether what he said in his book is right or not. Many people have not even read the book. It's a question of how, even when you feel insulted, even when you feel that your reputation, my reputation has been damaged by someone, what are the legal resources available to every Nigerian to seek redress? And in the case of Dele Farotimi, we are saying that what is happening is judicial terrorism. That is how I describe it. Don't forget, that the magistrate court that has just granted him this very terrible bill does not even have the jurisdiction over its case. Criminal defamation is not even in the laws in Ekiti. So this is a court that is trying someone over a non-existing crime and has given him a bill that now means that his right to freedom of expression is further taken away. That is what we are talking about now. And alongside all of this, it also has a case at the Federal Court, instituted by the Inspector General of Police. There are about 3 or 4 other civil cases against him, against his book. So this is a man who is facing huge judicial claim. And let me also say this very quickly. I have it on good authority that even this bill that has been given by the magistrate court may not at the end of the day guarantee his freedom. Mm-hmm. Because there is information that once that bill is perfected, there are plans to rearrest him immediately.
Now this is hearsay according to what we've heard.
And then charge him at another jurisdiction.
Once again, according to what you've heard.
According to what I have heard. And so, and if those who are planning it are hearing this, what we should tell them is that no matter how much they continue to, but what is happening is actually a confirmation of what Dele Farotimi has said, that there are some people in this country who have taken Nigerian states into their pocket, is state capture. And they have the police, they have the courts, they have the army under their control, but they're perfect citizens.
So guys, you have seen it for yourself. Yes, Mr. Dele Farotimi has been set free, and all the clips you have seen, I know you must have known that Mr. Dele Farotimi is a voice to reckon with. I mean, this is somebody everybody in Nigeria should embrace, because these are people that are not fighting for themselves. This fight is not a self-centered fight. It's not a fight just to make himself popular. It's a fight to restore dignity to Nigeria as a country and to Nigerians as a people. It's a fight to make sure that this country move forward. It's a fight to restore, all that God has blessed us with so that we can benefit from them. You can imagine that this country is loaded with blessings, but because these blessings have been captured by just a few persons, look at Nigerians living like beggars in a country that is well loaded in terms of, natural resources and all that. So Mr. Dele Farotimi is that one man that, he's just an opposite to anything called corruption. He is somebody who believes that the due process should be the thing that every Nigerian should embrace, and that a country can actually exist without corruption. He's somebody you can actually say he's like Mr. Peter Obi, although he takes the violence part in sending his message out. Peter Obi is a calmer kind of person, but these are people who believe that a country can survive without corruption. A country can move forward without being dented in corruption, like we've seen our country sinking in corruption. You can imagine Tinubu, after taking over power, he has not mentioned fight against corruption. He has not mentioned he wants to start exposing the rots in the system. Tinubu is not telling us how to stop oil theft, has not told us how he wants to stop ministries, all the ministries that were established, to how to stop them from stealing the public money that we rarely get this time. You know how scarce our resources are at this moment, but they are just there. Instead, they borrow and they lavish it in buying luxurious things that do not help the country. Let me know what you think about all this in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell. Please give this video a like so that YouTube can recommend it to others, and drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you.